So in this video, we look at some of the features of Course Compass for doing homework. Course Compass offers a lot of nice support features that will help you learn the material as you work through the concepts in this class. So in this window, you can see that I've logged into Course Compass, and I have the main Course Compass screen with the announcement screen shown in the window. And we're going to go ahead and go down on the left side of the browser window to where it says Do Homework. That's the first, second, third, fourth tab down. And to do homework, you want to press that tab. So go ahead and do that. And the way this course is set up, you can actually do any of the homeworks. So the entire class, all the homeworks in the class are already done. And you can work on any of these. So one of the nice features of this class is if you want to work ahead with respect to the homework, the quizzes are pre-scheduled, and we'll cover quizzes in another segment. But the homework can be done at any time, and you can work as far ahead on the homework as you like. The way the course is designed, ideally you at least complete the homework or at least look at it and work through the homework problems, because the quiz problems, which do count towards your grade when you take the actual quiz, the quiz problems are based on what you do in the homework. So before you go and take a quiz, and where you run the chance of actually having your score affected by not being prepared, you should at least look at the homework and make sure you can do all of the homework problems. So let's go ahead and look at the sort of the first step to completing the quizzes, which is at the very minimum looking over the homework, and we're going to look at that here. So I'm going to select one of these sections. I'm just going to go into homework 1.7. The first one that's listed here, and I'm just going to click on it. And to actually start the homework, you can go ahead, if you've actually worked on the homework before, you can see here in this screen, question 1, the green check mark and the red arrow here over by question 1 means that I've got partial credit on this. I've got 0.25 points out of 1 point, so I'm only 1/4 of the way through this question. You can see in question 3, the green check mark indicates that I've completed this question and gotten full credit, 1 out of 1. In question 6, I've got 0.12, or 12% of the question correct. So ideally, when you're done with the homework, you'll have green X's next to all of the questions, and you can redo the problems as many times as you need to get the correct answer. There's no negative consequence on your score, so you can kind of redo these as many times as it takes for you to get comfortable and good with the concepts. And then once you're happy with the homework and you're okay with all of the concepts in this section, for example, section 1.7, after you're done with the homework, then you would move to doing the quiz, and there will be a separate tutorial about doing quizzes in Course Compass. So let me go ahead into question 1. This one I've started working on. And when you exit the session, you can just save your work. We'll look at that in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and click on question 1. And so you can see along the top here below where it says homework 1.7. This assignment has 7 questions. I've completed 4 out of 7 partially. I've worked on 4 out of 7. And again, the green check mark with the red X indicates that I've got partial credit, but I haven't completed the problem. So in this first question, I've started it and done some work, but I haven't actually completed it completely. And when you want to leave a session, you can always come back and work on your work. Down here at the bottom it says save. You just save your work, and then you can exit and come back, and Course Compass will keep track of the work that you've done so far and will let you continue from where you left off. So that's one of the nice features. So for example, let me go ahead and here we're finding the length of a cube. So the volume, given the side length of the cube, x, the volume is given by x cubed. And so if I take 8 and cube it, go ahead and do that now on my calculator, I get 512, so I can type 512, and then the button down here allows me to check my answer. And it says, okay, nice work. That means I got that correct. I click OK. And then it brings me to the next part of the problem, and down over here it says 6 parts remaining on the bottom left corner. So I would continue doing this until all of the parts have been completed. And at that time, when I've completed everything and I've done all the right answers, I'll get a green check mark indicating that I've completed that problem and have been awarded full credit. So that's sort of your goal, is to have that green check mark next to each problem in the homework set. Couple of features of Course Compass over here in the upper right corner where it says question 1.71. If you click on this little icon here, it will fit the question to the window, whatever the current window size is, so you can see the problem a little on a little bit larger scale, which is kind of nice. Or you can go back to the more compressed view. Also over here on the left, you'll see there's a number of typesetting tools. If I click the More button, you can see all of the typesetting tools. So if you ever need a square root or the pi symbol or any other typesetting device, or you want to raise to a power or take an absolute value, you want to click on that symbols palette, and that symbols palette allows you to do all of your typesetting. So for example, if I wanted to enter a fraction in problem 9, maybe I want to enter 1/2. This is definitely not correct. But let's go ahead and see what happens. And if I check my answer here, it says, sorry, that's not correct. And then it tries to give me some help and a push in the right direction. So, and I knew that was going to be wrong, but I wanted to show you what it looks like when you get the answer incorrect. So once you've completed each problem, you move on to the next. There's navigation arrows here. I'm on problem 1, so I can click on the right navigation button over here. Or if I'm halfway through the exercise, I can go left or right, or you can just click on the problem number to work the problem. So let's go over here to problem 3. I'm going to jump to 3, or you can use the right arrow to click. And are you sure you want to continue without checking my answer? Yes. And I'm going to keep my last save score. Or you can save the current score if you had gotten more of the question correct. In my example, I didn't get that one right, so I don't want to save that wrong answer. So here we are in problem number 2. You can see the little where it's tan here, that indicates the problem that you're working on. So the ones with the little dark blue or black arrows indicate that you've done some work on them. And then in 4 and 5, you can see that there's nothing circled on these, which means I haven't even attempted these yet. So so you can work through these. And here in problem 4. And again, the typesetting tools on the left. Now, if you're stuck on a problem and you're not sure how to do it, over on the right side of the screen, to the right of the window, we have a number of learning aids, and this is one of the features that makes a lot of people really like Course Compass. One thing you can do, starting from the top, help me solve this. You can work step by step through the problem, and it will ask you to fill in parts of the problem as you work through it and give you assistance. There's no effect on your score when you work through this, so you can do a guided tutorial with Course Compass. If you just simply want to view an example without having to answer a bunch of questions to get to the answers, you can just view an example and then just continue, and it will show all the parts of the problem. So that's kind of nice. You can view an example. A lot of students like that feature. If you want to read about the section in the textbook, you can do that. So this will bring up the electronic version of the textbook, the ebook. And you can go, it'll take you right to the section that the problem is related to, and then you can read through the electronic textbook and get help by reading the book. So that's another feature of the Course Compass, is that you can actually go to the section, directly to the section of the book, and read about that topic, learn what you want to learn, and then come back to the problem and continue on. There's a little built-in calculator. If you ever need to do a computation on a calculator, you can click on the calculator. You can send your instructor an email and type a comment in the box, and it tells the instructor what the section and the question number is. So most likely your instructor will put the answer in the discussion on the discussion board so that everybody else can see the answer. But you always can certainly ask from here if you wish. If you want to print out the problem and work on this at home on a hard copy, you can print this question only, or you can print the entire homework assignment, work on the homework assignment offline, and then key your answers in. Some people like working on the computer screen, other people like working on paper, and then keying all their answers in when they're done. So that's a personal preference, and you can choose on what you want to do there. So those are the basic features of Course Compass. As we move later through the book, different features will come up, and future videos will cover individual aspects of the homework system. Once we start graphing, there will be additional tutorials as needed as you work through the course. And also, depending on what section you're working in, the learning aids on the right side of the window will change, and sometimes there will be animations and videos that will also support. So all the learning tools are on the right of the window, and then again, all of the typesetting tools, are on the left side of the window, and just click the More button if you need additional typesetting tools. So all your typesetting is done there. And that's it. So those are the basic features of Course Compass's homework system.